Well, now, I sincerely apologize that this took so damn long to get to. I didn't intend for it to be this long of a lull, almost a month. But real life happens. Try to do this in a certain way, and it just really didn't pan out the way I wanted it to go. And on top of that, work. So, without further ado, let's get on with answering your questions. The way I set it up was that I will go and answer the Skype and YouTube comment questions, and then anything through Tumblr or YouTube message I will do at the end, and those will all be as anonymous, because I'm rather assuming that you didn't really want people to know who you were. You asked me there. Furthermore, there's one question on there that I do want to answer that I would definitely want to keep them anonymous because I don't want anybody attacking them. But I definitely want to answer their question. So, without further ado, let's get on with the show. Dr. Creepasta says, how do you? How do I? How do you? How do I? How do you? Think about that. Yeah, think about it. And for those of you who don't know, Dr. Creepasta was the man who played Marcus on the Sing series. So y'all can thank him for his lending his voice to that incredibly long story. Thanks, Doctor. Creepy Vegeta 241000. What made you decide to narrate creepypastas? And how do you get your voice to sound so fancy and refined? Well, what made me decide to do it was that I didn't know you could do it. And then out of nowhere, I happened upon the Little Fears. And then I happened upon Creeps. And then I happened upon Mister. And then this whole community thing. I was like, oh, this is a thing. I never actually thought about doing it this way. Well, here we go. Literally, pretty much how it went. I mean, I know that I've used my voice before in the past for things that are not creepypastas, but, I just did not think about doing YouTube narrations. It never crossed my mind. If it was a snake, I'd be dead. As for how I get my voice so fancy and refined, I don't know. It simply comes naturally. And for those of you who have spoken to me, via phone call or via Skype chat, you can tell I'm not always so fancy and refined. So I think it's just a matter of knowing when you need to be professional, when you need to be fun, when you need to be creepy, and when you need to sound sexy. Depending on the day. Phoebe McLean. Do you ever get really scared when reading a creepypasta? Question mark. When reading a creepypasta, not so much scared, but I do tend to get a couple of creeps here and there. That little bit of tingle in your spine. And only when I'm reading them, not reading them out loud. When I'm just sitting in front of the computer and reading, or sitting on my phone reading, a really good, believable creepypasta will give me a bit of a chill. Not because I believe it, or not because it's a trigger or anything like that, but usually because when it's so well written to be believable. Phil Andrew, what inspired you to write the Sing story/series? In other words, what inspired the plot of the story? That is a loaded question. This story was originally brought about from three main things. One, I've always had a love for fairy tales that are, well, technically, the pretty fairy tales are the unconventional ones, if you think about it. But I've always had a love for the original type of fairy tales, the creepy fairy tales, the ones where people died. So that always made me want to learn more about the folkloric creatures. So I'd always wanted to see a good story about that. The second part was because I wanted to write a story that had non-stereotypical gay protagonist. Somebody actually made a comment to me at one point saying I didn't even realize they were gay until halfway through the story. That was the whole point. I wanted to create something where I wanted to show people that one, horror does not affect just, straight people and affects, only and only the white blonde bombshell gets out alive or whatever. And but at the same time, I also wanted to make sure that it was a story where you just say, they're gay. Go on. That's not the important part of the story. The important part of the story was the horror part, or the feels, depending on what part you were listening to. And the third part was me losing my ability to sing. If anybody's ever really talked to me outside, you'll know that every so often I will complain about headaches or something like that. That's really, really, really understating what I'm actually feeling. I suffer from, for lack of a better term, the doctor has classified them as cluster headaches. I don't really believe him in terms that they are really fully cluster headaches, because they don't happen as often, but they happen far more often than any migraine sufferer gets them, just from research that I've read. And what had happened was that he had given me a prescription, and what it did was it kind of softened the blow of the headaches, but it closed up my throat, and I was completely unable to sing properly. Even to this day, I still have a bit of a closed up throat. If you know anybody that is an actual singer or is a good singer, they all know that you need to have an open throat. One of the great lines I was always told was that if you feel cold air in the back of your throat, you're doing it right. And for some reason, this medication actually managed to close up my throat. It made me unable to sing for a good month. I complained about it. He said, you got to keep going at it for a month. We want to see what happens after so long. I was like, okay, but this is actually, the fact that I can't sing is actually making me really depressed. And you actually find yourself, realizing that when you lose that thing that you took for granted, and it was something that you always loved doing, and you try to do it, and you know how you're supposed to sound, and you know how it's supposed to come out, and you just can't make that goal, it starts to cause things and cause firings in your brain. Incredibly depressing and incredibly painful. I know it sounds kind of weak for me to say this, but it was a very wretched time. So that's what all those three things together compiled up. That's what inspired me to do Sing. So, going on. Tupac and Hennessy 87. Are you a professional storyteller / writer? I am a storyteller, I am a writer, and I am a professional. But I am not a professional storyteller or writer. Does that make sense? Professionally, I don't do this for a living. I do this because it is therapeutic for me. I do this because it is fun. I do this because I want other people who have a good voice to do these things. And yeah, my professional side has nothing to do with this. Almost on the complete opposite. When I actually told my boss what I was doing, she laughed at me for a good long while. Anyways, moving on. Ex Deathbringer 25. You have the perfect evil villain voice. Why, thank you. Now the question is, which type of villain? Are we talking about, I'm going to kill you. I'm really going to gut you open and play with your insides? Or are we talking more along the lines of, so we've closed down your house. It's unfortunate that you were unable to make your bank payments. Now, I understand that you can buy it back from us at a very reasonable rate. It's rather unfortunate, though, that you don't really have the money to pay our reasonable rates, seeing as you also were fired from your job. It's rather unfortunate that you unfortunately did not see the fine print on the bank statement as to how we would have to retaliate should you not pay in full every single month. So we have in fact taken all your property, and we will refurnish your home. Unfortunately, though, due to this, we will be requiring that your wife and your daughter, who is of age, she is over 18, to seek jobs. And we do have plenty of jobs here. Now, they can come work for us. Your son will have to go to a military school. There is no doubt there. But we will fund that. Though you must realize that you will never see him again. It's unfortunate. And lastly, because it is qualified as property, and because it is qualified as our property now, due to the fact that you were unable to pay for it, the dog will be put down because we have no place to put it. Have a nice day. Which villain? AOD Yuki. Out of all the male creepypasta readers, I do enjoy yours the most. Daw. Your voice brings life to the characters and the situations, though I wish that your voice was a bit louder than the music sometimes, as I can only enjoy your stories and reads on my Android. Also, I have a story that suits your voice really well, and I know you could pull it off. I was wondering, would you mind reading my story? I wrote it while being in the hospital, and I can give you a quick summary of it. Absolutely, dear. Send it over. And this goes for anybody. If you have a story, send it to me. I will, if it's not well written, I will push back and ask you to rewrite it, or I will ask if it's okay if I rewrite it for the sake of making it sound decent. You'd be surprised what some people don't realize what is a literary nightmare for some other people. Kind of like The Tale of Robert Elm, which I did for Avenged Nightmares. That one was, well, a lot of people, enjoy it and love it. I cannot stand the way it's written because it's a grammatical nightmare. But when I was reading, I did try to fix it here and there as I could. I do apologize that my voice is not always that loud. The microphone I use while picking up my voice very clearly does not pick it up loudly, and I don't know what on earth is the problem with it. It's everything's plugged in properly. I don't know what's going on. Everything's turned up to the highest pitch and volume. So I have to find a perfect spot where I can increase the volume in editing that doesn't force it to turn into every single time I talk. So I do apologize for that, and I am trying to learn how to edit better to try and find that perfect spot, that good bit thingy. Infinite Sorrows 21. First, what advice would you give to someone who's interested in narrating creepypastas? Do it. Just do it. Second, will Sing be the last story we hear of these creatures, or will they show up in future tales? Originally, I had planned that this would be a series. I was even hoping to incorporate some of the other creepypasta monsters into it, but I opted against that after I've seen how diluted some of them ended up becoming. And I was also going to see what kind of reception I received on the stories. Because the reception was so well, I will be continuing these monsters along the way. Especially since, there is a vast mythology that I really want to explore with this. And, a convoluted plot that I started making up in my head as I was reading the stories. So yeah, look forward to that. Corporal Pasta. Hi, Corporal. Why you no talk to me more often? Why you no say hi? You don't call, you don't write, you don't send cake. Speaking of which, his question is, would you like some pound cake? Yes, with strawberries and whipped cream. I'm certain that you mean it in a completely different way, and in which case, I'm taking the high road on this. The Call of Creepypasta. Correction. The Call of Creepypasta. I can't really do your voice, man, but I really want to say you have a fantastic fucking voice when it comes to being like a ringmaster or a ringleader. You can fucking deliver that shit, and something compliment insert. Anyways, were you born with that voice, or did you have to work at it? Well, no one is born with the voice that they're going to have when they're an adult. But I just kind of grew into it. That's one's voice is an amalgamation of what they're naturally inclined to and what they were taught. Not so much taught, but what they grew up around and their experiences and whatnot. One thing I can definitely say is that I was not always so clear and concise, though. I used to have a really, really bad stutter, severely bad stutter, which I worked on to get rid of. It still comes back here and now. It depends on it depends on if something's really, really bothering me. The Call of Creepypasta asks, from where have you derived your name? My name was derived from the Greek word for terror, demos, or Greek personification for terror. And Barnabas, I plucked up because I actually misread a line in the Bible when they were dealing with Barabbas and his story. And because I, kind of enjoyed the dichotomy of it and kind of the undertones of it, I started calling it, I went with Barnabas, thinking that was the actual name. So yeah, had I actually not misunderstood something, it would be Barabbas Demos. But in this case, we're sticking with Barnabas Demos. And I like it. Just kind of has a bit of refinement to it, doesn't it? Just kind of gives that sense of, this guy's a dick. And he's going to make me enjoy it. The Call of Creepypasta. By the way, that was actually a line someone said to me when I first thought up the name for something else. Where did you learn to sing, or were you self-taught? Yes. I taught myself how to sing, like, if anybody has actually listened to it, I Put a Spell on You. That was singing like that was self-taught from years of singing along with Marilyn Manson music or Nine Inch Nails, Cold Chamber, and so on and so forth. But the ability to sing more in tune and the ability to use proper vowels and my knowledge of singing, that was learned from a really great teacher in high school and a little bit beyond high school. So I have him to thank for really teaching me how to properly sing. Nate Dog 200. Where did you bury the body, and how many pieces did you chop it into? Bury the body? Well, I didn't really actually look at how many pieces I chopped it into. The important thing is that those 1-inch cube pieces make for great stew. Savian. What microphone do you use? What is the daily life of a Barnabas? Well, the microphone I use is a POS 9000. It's a M Audio Avid microphone. It's not entirely bad, but it is definitely subpar to some things. Unless I'm completely, technologically broken, that I don't know how to get this stupid bloody thing to start making proper sounds at the requisite volume that I want it to. So that's my answer to that. But as to my daily life is consistent of waking up in the morning and laying in bed for quite some time until the pain in my head finally decides to subside long enough for me to get up and go take a shower. And then it's putting on the 3-piece suit, off to work, and pretending that I am important. And then talking to people on Skype via my phone. Very, very slowly. And then it's coming home and dealing with home life and video games. Lots and lots of video games. And reading. And writing. And occasionally drawing. And let's see. And a cat. And the cat. That fucking cat. If anybody would like a cat, please let me know. I will gladly throw him at your face. Crystal T-Drow. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. I feel that in order to excel at something, which I feel you do in your portrayal of emotion, one must have experienced a personal low that challenged them so greatly that they found themselves better for having dealt with it. If I am not incorrect in assuming that you have gone through a similar ordeal, pray, do tell the story behind your talent to portray such sincere emotion. If you would be so earnest and forthcoming, that is to allow us, your listeners, to sneak a private peek behind the veil. So, you're going to make me sound human. Well. There are several personal lows that I've had. I will spare grisly details, but I will say that there are losses in life that will always stick with you, that you need to use for the better. There's never any point to using your misfortune or your problems as laurels to sit on. But at the same time, they should be used as avid teaching moments. That's something that I've noticed with a lot of people, especially these days, is that they take their misfortunes, exaggerate them, and then use them as some sort of badge of honor, and somehow manage to get it in their head that because they suffered something, that it makes someone else's suffering less. You know the old story. Somebody comes home and says, I broke my finger, and somebody tells them, yeah, well, I broke my arm once. That doesn't, just because you broke your arm once doesn't mean that lessens somebody else's pain. I kind of got off track with that, but back to the actual question. Sorry, that whole thing is something that always comes to mind when I'm thinking about my own personal problems. I have loved, I've lost. That there's that. You can always count on that in life, and learning from it. And I have scraped the bottom of the perverse and deviant barrel of the rich when I was in desperate need of money. I have actually considered doing them as stories for this, but they would be far too, they'd hit far too much to me, and they would be something that I would be very disgusted to speak about. But yeah, I have, when in desperate need of money, always seek for better options. Never go with what's right in front of you if you know it's bad for you. Some things are very steady slopes to dissolution. If any of you really want to know any of those things, go ahead and drop me a message, and I'll do my best to tell you what it was. Since I've piqued other people's interest when I've made passing comments, which is very difficult not to do, but, sometimes you just don't really want to talk about it. And on top of that, we have the headache problem. And the, don't want to call them suicidal, but I would like to say self-destructive tendencies that those headaches bring. Like I said in the story, headache, it's not so much that you want to snuff it, you just want it to stop. And there are some times where that just becomes a fine line that starts to become somewhat blurred. Creep Miss Pasta. For those of you who don't know, Creep Miss Pasta was the wonderful bird from the story. And I want to thank you again, Miss Pasta, for jumping in on that. Hello, Mr. Demos. First, great work with your Sing reboot, and thank you for allowing me to be part of it. You're welcome. Second, I was planning on running naked through the streets, covered in jello, screaming, "The end is near! Lip sync for your lives!" And I was wondering if you had a pompadour wig that I could borrow. Well, this is a complete 180 from how I was feeling just a moment ago, as I was wallowing in my own misfortune, as I had just said that one should not do. No. The pompadour wig is currently being washed to get all the green jello that was used during the last time that we had discussed this. I do apologize for that, and I will get it back from the cleaners as soon as possible for you. Thank you, and have a nice day. The Mask of Words. First off, I love your narrator. I believe that's narrations. I think you a letter. And songs. They coo me to sleep all the time. Oh, in a good way. Your voice is soft and soothing. Okay, question 1. How old are you? Ancient. In comparison to everybody else, of course. The other people who do narrations, I am the second oldest that I know of. Have you ever thought about doing narrations for movies? I would love to. I never thought about it until maybe about a month ago, honestly. Can you please do some Edgar Allan Poe? Yes. Yes, I could. I do believe I did The Raven, The Conqueror Worm, and The Black Cat, which is still one of my favorites. But I probably will most likely do more of his poetry, of course, and I will definitely be doing several of his stories, like, oh god, what the bloody hell was that name? The Cask of Amontillado. I definitely want to do that, and I will be doing The Telltale Heart, because I would want to get all those 3 at least done. On top of that, I'll probably do The Tomb of Ligeia, and The Curious Case of Monsieur Voldemort. I think that's how you pronounce it. I always fuck that up. Are you single? For tonight I am. Would you care to go out? Right now? You have about 5 seconds to answer. And can you please sing Lullaby Good Night My Angel? It's my favorite song in the whole world. Love ya, TMOW. Sure, let's try this out. Let's throw this into the old searchy engine thingy. Good night, my angel. Oh, it's a Billy Joel song. Oh, this is going to be interesting. Good night, my angel, time to close your eyes and save these questions for another day. I think I know what you've been asking me. I think you know what I've been trying to say. I promised I would never leave you. Then you should always know. Wherever you may go, no matter where you are, I will be far away. Good night, my angel, now it's time to sleep. And still so many things I want to say. Remember all the songs you sang for me when we went sailing on an emerald bay. And like a boat out on the ocean, I'm rocking you to sleep. The water's dark and deep inside this ancient heart. You'll always be a part of me. Good night, my angel, now it's time to dream. And dream how wonderful your life will be. Someday your child may cry, and if you sing this lullaby, then in your heart there will always be a part of me. Someday we'll all be gone, but lullabies go on and on. They never die, that's how you and I will be. Well then, there we are. Onward! I have never I have never done a Billy Joel song, ever. Let alone actually listen to him without consciously listening to him. So, that was interesting. The Deranged Dahlia. Are you a trained singer or is that just natural talent? Judging by the way that I just probably sang that, no, I'm not a trained singer. Sorry. I do have a bit of training, as I said with Call of Creepypasta's question, but there always is a need for natural talent. You need to know how to sing a little bit without training. Some people can be trained from being entirely tone deaf, I believe, but it takes a lot of hard work and loyalty to your craft. Where did you find the inspiration to write the Sing series? I answered that earlier with my depressing, intellectual, rabble-rousing side. I have always wanted to know Thanks. Keep narrating and keep being awesome. I will. Oh God. I will. Narrating. Being awesome, that just comes naturally. I'll just keep doing that on my own. Damn, even the announcements are creepy. From the Deranged Dahlia. So is your name. Which I like that. Babar Maud Sharim. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I love your singing. But which do you prefer more, singing or writing? The singing. You can always sing. You can't always write. Yeah, honestly. Avenging Nightmares. For those of you who don't know, Avenging Nightmares is the tree from the Sing series. He, when I originally wrote it, and I originally gave him his lines, he got his lines to me almost instantaneously. And I was rather impressed with what he had done. And I actually wrote an entire spot in the fall portion specifically for him. The portion in fall was that he took over actually was supposed to be a completely different scene with Dimitri and a different monster. But the way that I ended up envisioning things, especially after listening to the way that Avenge had done his lines, I had to change it. I had to bring back the tree. So, thanks, Avenging. See what you did? You made me do more work. First off, do you miss me? Obviously. Second, if you are being attacked by a horde of angry ninja monkeys wielding banana swords, calling for revenge of their fallen comrades that you have defeated, and all you have is a fly swatter and feather duster to defend yourself, what do you do? Make amends, kill the highest ranking monkey ninja guy, and then promptly form an army for which we will do my evil bidding. And this world will suffer a banana-scented wrath, the likes of which it has not seen since since Sodom and Gomorrah. God damn it, my own word jumbly thingies screwed up my cool little phrase there. See what you did, Avenging? Demigod's Grotto of Nightmares. If you had 99 problems, what wouldn't be one of them? You. Creepypasta. Have you ever thought how awesome it would be to live the lifestyle of a horse with the name of Jeffrey? I already live part of that lifestyle. I am a horse. Though I've never really cared for the name Jeffrey for myself. It's fine on other people. Morals and Virtues. Hi, giggles. Morals and Virtues. She did the voice of Ruthie, the old woman. And I want to say thank you for that. She actually creeped me the hell out when she sent me her lines originally. And very few people can do that with their with that sort of scenario. That good job. Good. I applaud you, giggles. Hi, Barnabas. 1. What was your most embarrassing moment? 2. What's your favorite creepypasta narrator shipping? 1 including you and another not including you. 3. Can you say Irish wrist watch? 4. What were the highlights of your creepypasta narrating experience? 5. Can I hug you? Well, my most embarrassing moment. I have quite a few of those. I really can't pick one. We'll go with the time that I farted incredibly loudly while speaking to my boss and another co-worker and screamed, "Oh my God." We'll go with that one. Namely because it was so incredibly rank. My favorite creepypasta narrating shipping, not including me and one including me. Me and the one Music Maniac. The reason for that one was because that was the first shipping that I managed to find myself into, rolled all up into by, I do believe, you, Morals and Virtues. And she will always be my beard, and I will always be her face. One not including me, I don't know. We'll go ahead and do Litterbot and Call a Creepypasta, just because they're both pretty awesome. We already answered number 3. 4, what were the highlights? Highlights has been... my highlights, I'm really not sure. Honestly, I just enjoy doing this, which has made it one long highlight. And dealing with all of you guys, the other narrators, and the corresponding people and acquaintances, and then all the fans, it's all just one big highlight. I don't really consider anything really standing above the rest. I just think it's fun just to do it. If you can hug me, yeah, sure, why not? You may hug me. You may hug me. Creeps McPasta plays. If there's a story you wish you could do, but due to a circumstance such as not being able to play the part, cannot do so. Yes, there is one story that I cannot do Creeps, and that is a story that I wrote myself for a friend of mine's comic book a while back that never saw the light of day, unfortunately. And the way that I wrote it, I'm not sure if it's the way that I wrote it or if it's the way that I envisioned the character. I just cannot narrate it. I cannot get into the man's emotional mindset, which is strange for me because I can usually get into almost anybody else's mindset from that other people have written, but I just can't get into his. It's just, I don't know why. But if anybody wants to try and do it, send me a message and I'll send you the story and knock yourself out. Enjoy. Creeps McPasta. I realize I left a question on the wrong account. Oh my god, that was you? I never would have figured. So here's another one. What is your motivation to narrate? Is there a goal you are trying to reach? You stole that question from me. And I love you for it. My motivation to narrate is I enjoy it. And it's fun. It's great. I'm creating something for other people to listen to that are, for the most part, except for 1 or 2 people apparently, enjoy it. It's fun. It feels like I've accomplished some sort of art form when I finish it. I know it sounds pretentious, but that's what it feels like. And the goal I'm trying to reach, as of right now, I don't really have a true end goal other than continuously doing this until I can't. I mean, there's always the goal in the back of the head that one day, you'll reach to, I'll be able to use this as a stepping point to somehow actually get into movies or something like that. But that's just pipe dreams and fantasy. But as of right now, it's just to keep on making myself better, to keep on creating entertainment, even if it's just for 1 subscriber, and to keep helping everybody else. That's something that I do really enjoy, is when people ask me for help, and I will try my best to help them. So yeah, there's that. Alejandra Solis, you single? Well, normally no, but for 5 seconds there I was single when I was answering another question, and now that 5 seconds has long since passed. So, yeah, I guess I'm not single anymore. LOL, JK, but I love your voice. It's very nice. Smiley face. Well, thank you. Litterbot. Oh, Litterbot. We love you. What would you best like to find in your fried rice? Rice. What franchise would make the next best Happy Meal toy line? Divine Interventions. If you are over 18, Go look up Divine Interventions. They have some awesome stuff. What is your opinion of our new robot overlords? As long as they keep on performing my bowel movements for me, I could give a shit. Mr. Spooky Noodles, will you ever notice me, senpai? The question is, will you ever notice me, Kohai? If you had a 3D printer, what would be the first thing you print? Myself. If you were a movie, would you be the right guy, in honor of Miley Cyrus's recent publicity? I have no idea what that means, and I'm always the right guy. Would you elaborate to me the significance of the forearm? No. But I will give you this clue. It has something to do with an answer I've already that I've already given earlier. See? I started stuttering there. You have a rubber band, a coat hanger, 5 paper clips, and a box of thumbtacks. Invent something. I believe I will invent a super weapon for which to use with my super ninja monkey banana sword wielders. Boxers or briefs? Depends on the day, whichever one's sexier. If you have to live with a lifetime supply of one food, and only that food, what would it be? Food. Creepypasta the Third. Will you adopt me as your gaby? Sure. You do realize, though, that this means that I will have to keep a close eye on whoever you bring home. It's just gonna be like that. I just cannot have my gaby bring home someone, more attractive than me. The Haunted Dark. What is your favorite type of alcohol? Beer, cider, lager, whiskey, vodka, wine, bourbon, shandy, etc., etc. Whiskey. And in a pinch, vodka. The more fiery the whiskey, the better for me, honestly. Where do you wish to live in the future? Ireland. Oh God, I want to go and live in Ireland. Just because of the beauty that I see there. Just build me a shanty shack somewhere in the middle of BFE. I'll make narrations from a hut there, and I just want to go there. What is your favorite creepypasta? The Russian Sleep Experiment. In the past, it used to actually be Suicide Mouse, for some odd reason. That one really spoke to me at the time. But in reality, the Russian Sleep Experiment I really enjoyed. Namely because at the end of it, I felt moderately satisfied that it was over, but I still had more questions left over, which made me want more. Do you smoke? I am a social smoker. I smoke when I'm around my best, my heterosexual life mate. When I'm around him, I will smoke a cigarette or two. And when I'm absurdly stressed, I will smoke a cigarette. Or a pack. Pie or lemons? Pie. Am I overdoing this? Never. Did you know I don't care? Did you know that I don't care that you're overdoing this? Did you know that I don't care if you aren't overdoing this? Did you know that deep down, inside of you, you care that you are overdoing this? But then even deeper inside of me, I don't care that you're overdoing this. You may rest now. Oh, there is no rest for the wicked. So I will be up for days. Now, that deals with the comments. Let's go on with the anonymous stuff. Anonymous, you have an amazing voice. I enjoyed Sing very much and waited for each part. I have enjoyed all of your readings, and you certainly can sing. Thank you. Thank you very much. Would you be able to write a story about one of the pictures below? How about I write a story about both of the pictures below? Yeah, I will definitely try to write a story. I will link the pictures into the videos, take a look at them, and then yeah, I will definitely write something about these. Can you try singing a translation version of the Elfin Lied opening? That shit is in Latin. And Latin is hard to translate to English, but let's try. Do 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 do. Elfin Lied opening in English. Haha. Do do. And thus it begins. The mouth of the just shall meditate wisdom, and his language shall be clear. Blessed is he who suffers temptation, since he with striving shall receive the crown of life. Lord, for divine have mercy. Oh, how sacred, how serene, how benevolent, how lovely, O lily of purity. Okay then. Well, I tried. I probably sound absolutely wretched, but that's the way the Latin crumbles. Onwards. Next words. Up, down, left, right, side to side. Anonymous asks, will you sing Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I'm assuming you're meaning the BioShock version. Onward! There are loved ones in the glory, whose dear forms you often miss. When you close their earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky? In the joyous days of childhood, oft they told of wondrous love, pointed to the dying Savior. Now they dwell with him above. Will your circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky? You remember songs of heaven which you sang with childish voice. Do you love the hymns they taught you, or are songs of earth your choice? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky? You can picture happy gatherings round the fireside long ago. And you think of tearful partings when they left you here below. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, oh, in the sky? One by one their seats were emptied, and one by one they went away. How the family is parted. Will it be complete one day? Will the circle be unbroken by and by, by and by? Is a better home awaiting in the sky, in the sky? Sorry. I knew this song was coming, and yet I still allowed it to get to me. Yeah, I know, Cap. It's cool. Come on. Anonymous, I hate you for making me feel human. How dare you get my eye-ginas going? Anyways, onward. Anonymous asks, in your story Sing, the main character was gay. Are you gay in real life? Not gonna preach either way. Just wondering. Now, when I read this, I had a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Bitchy response for it. Namely because if you write a story about stray people, do you ask them if they're straight? But I'm going to refrain from that. Instead, I am going to answer this question in the best way I can speak it. But the answer is yes. Yes, I am. I know, it's shocking. I'm certain that many girls out there are heartbroken. But I'm sure you will all live on. Anyways. This is one that I received on Tumblr that I will not squelch on the name with. Why? Because she deserves all the love. The evil black bunny says, I love you, fairy gay brother. And I love you. I love you. If you don't know who she is, Evil Black Bunny is a wonderful narratress. I'm not sure what the word would be there. And she is the voice of the tree of the black thing that came out of the tree. When I first wrote that, and I was looking for a voice, and I heard her do a very creepy voice, I knew exactly who I wanted to be the tree, and it had to be her. And I thank you so much for being a part of that, Bunny. I thank you. And I wish to give you all the bunny cuddles. Now, we come to the end. Now, this was the very first question I received over Reddit. And it made me laugh. And it's one of the small motivations for doing this. I know that I answered, namely, that my motivation is because I find it fun and because I enjoy it. But there is a slight motivation of rubbing it in someone's face. All over their idiotic face. And so, to which I will ask you the question that they asked me. And I have given my answer since I've been reading and narrating, and giving to all of you my voice, and my cat's voice, apparently. And perhaps you would be so kind to see if you agree with my answer. His question was, I'm assuming it's a he, it most likely could have been a she. Faggots don't belong in creepypasta. Do you honestly think you'll do well at it at all? Well, my cat says I'm doing quite fine. I feel I'm doing quite fine, and I am enjoying myself wholeheartedly. And clearly, I have people who are enjoying me wholeheartedly. And so, I wonder if you all share my answer on this as well. Thank you all for being here. It's unfortunate that I took so long. Once again, I'm so sorry about that. And you all got to see a bit more of who and what I am, and what's behind the veil, so to speak. Now, you all enjoy yourselves. The cat says, enjoy yourselves. And he's still saying, enjoy yourselves. And is he going to let me finish this? He's letting me finish. All of you, stay safe and stay creepy.